Lesson 12-6, Graphing Equations, and in this lesson you learn to graph functions from function tables. And when are you ever going to use this? Knowing how to graph functions can help you analyze data at a quick glance. Okay, so let's take a look at this example in allowances. Getting an allowance of $2 a week is an example of a function. So the equation y equals 2x, okay, where y is the amount received and x is the number of weeks, will give you the total of allowance received after the number of weeks you choose. So in equation y equals 2x, x is the input and y is the output. The function rule is 2x. Remember, we talked about this, that the output is always dependent on the input. And since y is dependent on the value of x, y will be our output, x will be our input, and the function rule would be uh, 2 times x. Okay, so we can use the coordinate system to graph an equation or a function. Okay, and let's take a look at example number 1. Okay, in example number 1, before we do that, we need to find out what the rule is. We're going to do that for now. Okay, so the rule is, or let's find out what the example is first and foremost. Well, apparently it's not here. Okay, so we'll go to example 1 then. In example 1, basically saying, refer to the beginning of the lesson, make a function table for the rule 2x. So we want to make a function table, and for the rule of, our rule will be 2x. Okay, so after making a function table, we need to graph, okay, our function table. So this is what we want to do. Okay, so make a function table with the rule 2x, and we want to graph it. Okay, so remember, we talked about this. Okay, in our input, the input will always be x. Okay, the output will be y. So our function will be y is equal to 2x, where 2x is our function rule and y will be our output, x will be our input. Okay, so first things first, step number 1, record the input and output in a function table 0, 2, 4, and 6. Okay, list the input and output as ordered pairs. So first we list our input, okay, which is our x right there, 0, 2, 4, and 6. That is our input. Our function will be 2x. Okay, so that means it's 2 times 0, 2 times 2, 2 times 4, and 2 times 6. So our output will be the product of 2 times x, okay, which is y, okay, in this case. So 2 times 0 is 0, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 6 is 12. Our ordered pairs, remember, this is our x coordinate and this is our y coordinate. When we talk about ordered pairs, it's always arranged as x first and then the y coordinate. So the x coordinate first before the y coordinate. That will be our ordered pair. So in this case, our ordered pair would be xy on top, 0, 0, 2, 4, 4, 8, and 6, 12. That is step number 1. Okay, so let's move on now to step number 2 and how to graph this. So that's step number 3, not that one. Step number 2, graph the ordered pairs from the table in step 1 on the coordinate plane. So first things first, the x-coordinates represent the number of weeks from the start. Remember, that is our independent variable, because the dependent variable would be the total allowance received after x weeks. Okay, so if you notice, y will always depend on x. Our output will always depend on our input. So if we graph this, okay, if we graph this, we have uh, the ordered pairs 2, 0. So let's graph that. Ordered pair 2, 0. First, let me lock this so it won't. Let me lock this. And so we can write on it. Okay. So we have the ordered pair 0, 0 right here. Okay. And we have the ordered pair 2, 4 right here. 2, 4. We have the ordered pair 4, 8. 2, 4, 4, 8, which is way above here, and another ordered pair 6, 12, which will go up there, all the way up there. Okay, so that's what we do. We graph them in a coordinate grid. Okay, my coordinate grid is too small, so 6 over 12 will be way past the screen. Okay, so that's step number 2. Okay, this is actually what happens. 2, 0, 0, 2, 4, 4, 8, and 6, 12 right there. Okay, so that's how you graph those 4 points, and then from there we go to step number 3. And step number 3, after graphing those 2 points, the points appear to lie in a line. Draw a line that contains all these points. Okay, the line is a graph of y equals 2x. So after graphing all those points, okay, we simply draw a line, okay, connecting all those points, something like this, and make it bigger right here. So we graph those points, 0, 0, 2, 4, 4, 8, and 6, 12. And then we connect all those points with a straight line. There you go. And we have graphed our function. Okay? Make this smaller. Oops, smaller now. Okay. Okay. So from there, let me close this now. We have graphed y equals 2x. So basically what we just did there was that we simply connected all these points, okay, with a straight line, okay, and we drew arrow points after that, which means this is a line that goes on indefinitely. Okay, so draw the line that contains these points. The line is the graph of y equals 2x. And that is step number 3. Okay, let's take a look at example number 3. We want to make a function table for the graph and determine the rule. So in this particular example, you are given the graph of a function. You want to create a function table and determine the rule that applies to that particular line. So use the ordered pairs to make a function table. We will use the points that you see here and put it on our function table. And the points are -6, -2, -3, -1, 0, 0. And then we have 3 and 1. Okay? That means it tells us what our input is, which is -6, -3, 0, and 3. Right here, and our output would be -2, -1, 0, and 1. And if we analyze, okay, and if we analyze the situation, the function table, okay, our input would be -6, -3, 0, and 3. Our output would be -2, -1, 0, and 1. Okay, the rule would be basically multiplying by 1/3 to get to your output. So you get your input, multiply by 1/3 to get to output, okay? And multiplying by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3. So basically divide the input by 3 to get to your output, okay? So each input is multiplied by 1/3 to get to the output. Your function rule will be 1/3, or just so like I said, x over 3, or x divided by 3. Okay, and the secret word for this particular lesson would be overtime. Secret word is overtime. Thank you for watching.